Hey everybody, Hugh here. Welcome back. Quick video, the last weekend of January, just to show some of that spring colour has arrived here in the Grow Tunnel. And while the weather outside has been less than perfect, particularly some of that mid-January cold, in here we seem to have escaped the worst of it. To a point where some of the bulbs that we had bought ready growing, if you like, in the smaller little pots, and we potted on, have actually come into flower. These ones are hyacinths, and they have a beautiful fragrance, real spring fragrance to the place. So this is just nice. Outside, of course, there will be plenty of work to be getting on with, but a lot of the time the ground is either too wet or too cold to be going on with anything. So not doing a huge amount out there, Seeds wise, well, the likes of the early sweet peppers, it's time to sow them if you haven't already done so. But for most other things, broad beans maybe as well. If you haven't sown any garlic, put those guys in as well. Maybe even the early sweet pea. But for many things, it's just a tiny bit too early. There's a little bit of time yet. Interestingly, if I can get them on camera, are these little bellis flowers I came across. And they're particularly nice, and those that follow me on Twitter will know that I do up the copper bowl that my dad made me every year with them, and they're always a lovely display right in the middle of spring and well into summer then. So they're a lovely display. Now at the moment, I don't know, did the camera pick it up there, but when I brush my hands through them, you can see these flurries of what I'd call fruit flies. I know other people have other names for them, but are flying off them, and they're thriving on the likes of this sort of debris material, and that really the plants have to be gone through and it has to be stripped off them. And it's very easy at this time of year for old material like that's been there over winter to become quite damp and mouldy, and the likes of those flies to thrive in that position. The flies themselves, the fruit flies themselves, don't do any damage as such to the plants, but their larvae are little sort of like white transparent worms, for want of a better way of describing them, and they're about an inch long, and or centimeter or an inch. No, it's about a centimeter long, sorry. And they'll damage the roots, particularly of young seedlings. So you can see if their population is beginning to build now on established plants like this, if they get into seed trays and that, they can decimate young crops. So you can see what I'm doing there, and I'll be doing this. I'm holding camera in one hand and pinching through, so you can see we'll get to doing this properly and just strip out any of that sort of dead or dying foliage, and making sure we're watering these plants from the base at the moment, because sometimes it's the cold water landing on the young foliage that causes that sort of mouldy effect, and it can spread from the older mouldy growth to the fresh green growth. So keep them clean, keep out the fungus, keep out those fruit flies. Now what I have done is I've put in a jar like so, with a little bit of spoiled fruit in the bottom of it, or spoiling fruit in the bottom of it, a bit of cling film on top, and a hole in. And the hope is that the fruit fly will actually choose to find its way in there, which has worked in the past, particularly indoors, and has thrived inside there on the rotten fruit rather than out here on the plants. So it's a way of trapping them. And then of course making sure that we bring the completed fly trap outdoors, or sorry, we can bring the populated fly trap outdoors and then release them or do whatever. I saw on YouTube, or was it on Twitter actually, someone was talking about them on their indoor plants. So they'd use these yellow sticky cards for the flies to get caught on, and then they were using some nematodes in the compost itself. But I'm going to stick with this particular method, see if it does produce any results, and maybe I'll look for the nematodes. I know when I was looking for the vine weevil nematodes, I couldn't find them. And then when we were looking for the vine weevil nematodes, we couldn't find them. So sometimes I blame my own internet skills or lack thereof. But in actual fact, neither of us could find them. They're all from UK and we couldn't get them in here. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, so that's it. Just a wee update. Last weekend in January is where things are at in the grow tunnel here. There is, of course, plenty more. If I can do this without making you feel too sick. You'll see there's plenty more going on here as well that I can get to explaining on other days, particularly as things begin to happen. So, hope you're keeping well, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping warm. Do take care, and catch you in the next one. All the best for now. Bye bye.